time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
There are several ways to address or perhaps even upgrade a position in the NFL, especially one that has given you major problems. And the 49ers defensive tackle has been tier one: defensive end, defensive tackle, wide receiver, quarterback. The amount of resources that this team has spent on those positions is incredible. Now, defensive tackle, they've missed and missed and missed and missed. Whether it's Javon Kinlaw paying one of the most ridiculous contracts ever to 30-plus-year-old Javon Hargrave. Keep going. They traded away to Forrest Buckner. That kind of counts in the negative. You keep Armstead, but then you kind of cut him, let him walk. Just a lot of misses. Well, the new approach at the defensive tackle position is a whole bunch of lottery tickets at young players. A lot of them. And how's that going to pay off? You basically have one veteran defensive tackle, Jordan Elliott, who's one of the least consistent players in the NFL. Yeah, the splash plays are great, but consistently, you saw last year, I mean, good Lord, one of the worst players in the NFL against the double team. Kyle Shanahan referred to him as the best run defender at that position. That's not good. Well, you go draft 2 defensive tackles in the draft, which is huge, and you bring in Sebastian Valdez, an undrafted free agent. So that's 3 of the 7 defensive tackles are young pups. Evan Anderson, undrafted free agent, young. Kalia Davis hasn't done much, and he comes in number 53 on the 49ers roster countdown. A Balky-esque pick where you draft an ACL tear player later, probably 2 to 3 rounds later than he should have gone if he was healthy. You redshirt him for a year, and then you hope that something comes. It hasn't showed up yet. The 3rd year for Kalia Davis on this roster, and it is just not working. Now, can that change? Of course it can. And the 49ers are kind of betting that it will change because, man, there is not one established, credible defensive tackle currently on the 49ers roster. That is factual. Now, you're hoping 2nd-round pick Alfred Collins, 4th-round pick C.J. West. You're hoping Evan Anderson takes a step up. You're hoping Kalia Davis takes a step up. You're hoping Sebastian Valdez does something. But, man, there's not one proven asset. Not one. And to make that even worse, depending on when you're listening to this, Alfred Collins not even signed. There's only 2 out of 32 second-round picks that have signed, but still, rookies report soon, and no contracts done as of I'm recording this. So there's just so many youth question marks, but the 49ers are betting, hey, we're going to stop the run, and then good things are going to happen. And Kalia Davis, his first year, he was number 66 on our roster countdown, knowing he was going to be redshirted. 2023 was number 43. Oh, he's going to play a role. Redshirt year's over. Now he's going to work into the rotation. Didn't happen. Last year, 2024, he was 50th. He dropped 7 spots. This year, he drops another 3 down to 53. I do think that he will make the roster, but, man, it is hard to find any type of upside when you watch his tape. So let's dive into who Kalia Davis is with the hopes this is one of the many young lottery tickets that the 49ers are hoping are going to pay off. He wears jersey number 93. His hair is all over the place. He got a little belly on him, which is kind of cool. And he plays all out. A lot of energy. It costs him some gap integrity at times because he overexerts and over kind of pursues, and it causes some problems at times. 6'2", 310, one of the rarest builds. You know, he doesn't quite fit their traditional 3-tech that the 49ers like, but that's where they played him almost exclusively last year in that B gap. 33 5/8-inch arms. That's good. He's 26. Hasn't played much. 3.5 years older than Evan Anderson, and they're kind of playing the same role, even though they're built completely different. Didn't get to do a lot of the testing at the Combine because of the ACL tear, which happened before the Combine. 30 bench press reps, strong as heck. The comps that I can get closest to is kind of a Mike Daniels, Dominique Easley type player, but without all the measurables and, speed, vertical, broad, all that stuff. Makes it hard, but that's kind of what we're projecting. He's going into his 4th season, and it's weird. It's like, really already? You got to remember, his first season just sat out completely. Went to West Florida Tech High School, the Jaguars. Then UCF, Central Florida, was recruited and played the first 2 years at UCF as an off-ball linebacker. I mean, it was hilarious. He's wearing jersey number 3. I could still see it, going through his belly hanging out. stand up off ball linebacker. You know, we always would joke with our players like, man, you're a hamburger away from putting your hand on the ground. That's where Kalia Davis is. The athleticism, though, the instincts, the vision, the diagnosing, that is a rare trait, a rare ability that most defensive tackles don't have. He has that. Hasn't really served him well to this point. He gets moved to the defensive line for the last 3 seasons at UCF. Smart kid, AAC, all academic team honors multiple times. Absolute freak athlete, explosive, criminal justice major. You got to love that. And a lot of people projected him as a 3rd to 4th round pick, but then the ACL dropped him all the way down to 6th round. Cost him some money there, but got into the league. Seems to fit the locker room well. And the 49ers, they spent time with him. 2 official interviews with the Niners before they drafted him. And all that was knowing ACL tear before the combine. Like, they knew this was coming. They drafted him in the 6th round, the 42nd pick. He went 42 picks before Brock Purdy, that same draft. Here was the 49ers rush team pre-draft write-up on Kalia Davis. Quickness and penetration. Played linebacker his whole life. Didn't change D-line until his redshirt sophomore year in college. Never stops running. Motor is top-notch. That still translates. Still a tweener guy. Doesn't really fit the 3-tech or the plugger role. Kind of in between. Niners use him as a 3-tech. Coming off the ACL. Crazy project player that could pay huge dividends. Slices through gaps in the run game. Great first step. Has not translated. Adam Peters, who's with the Niners when they drafted him, said UCF runs a similar defensive front, so it's easy to evaluate. Now, let's look at what he's done since he's been in the NFL. Through 3 seasons, like, that's the thing, it's really just 2 seasons, but 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, 1 pass breakup, 1 interception. His interception was against Patrick Mahomes. That was pretty cool. But a one-dimensional run-only player. He plays some in the pass, but you could tell it's not his thing. He's that slasher, penetrator, kind of what they want Hargrave to be, kind of what they want Jordan Elliott to be, kind of what they want Kevin Givens to be. They got all these guys that just none of them have really panned out in that role. Competing against Evan Anderson, those 2 guys. Evan Anderson's 3.5 years younger. Evan Anderson's better against the run. I would argue Kalia Davis is better against the pass. Evan Anderson's about as bad against the pass as you could be. But what do you do well? I don't know what the answer is for Kalia Davis. And this is probably going to be the last hurrah, coming off all those. And it's not just the ACL tear before we drafted him. Had a high ankle sprain. Had a knee cleanup surgery before camp. Missed another 4 weeks. Like, you're talking 3 injuries in 3 years. Now, none as big as the ACL, and you can say, well, the knee cleanup was part of the ACL, but it doesn't matter. If you're missing time in 3 consecutive years with lower leg issues as a defensive lineman, that is rough. That's not a good thing. So this is the last year on his rookie deal. He signed a 4-year, $3.8 million deal, and his career earnings so far, $2.2 million. So he's gotten paid. Has a $1.1 million cap hit this year. That's minimal, and it's almost fully guaranteed on the rookie deal anyway. So you don't save if you move on from him. Doesn't really help you too much. 0 starts. That's a problem. 16 games played. He has seen the field some, and most of it was this past season. Played 13 games in 2024 season, no starts. 276 snaps, only 17 of those on special teams. So he was in the rotation, but again, the defensive tackle room was one of the worst in the NFL for the 49ers last year, which is crazy to say with all that they have invested at that position. They just have missed and missed and missed and missed. Total stats, 12. This is just 2024 season. 12 tackles for Kalia Davis, the interception with Mahomes, 1 pass breakup, 2 pressures, 5 solo run stops, and 1 penalty. You look at the PFF grades, not nice. 47 overall, bad. 42 versus the run, bad. Really bad whenever you consider he's a run-stopping player. 46 tackling grade, bad. 53.8 pass rush, and that's not even what he's there for. He had 141 run snaps, 117 pass snaps. They kind of had to use them both ways, and it was kind of like once the season kind of expired, they're like, put him out there, let's figure it out. Let's see what he's got. Didn't really leave a resounding good taste because it's like, I don't even know what to do with this guy. Pass rusher, run stuffer, doesn't really do anything great. What's going to happen? You look at the defensive tackle depth chart for the Niners heading into camp, and it's, man, you've got 4 locks. Alfred Collins lock, CJ West lock, Jordan Elliott lock, Evan Anderson lock. That's 4. You're keeping a minimum of 5. Sometimes the Niners keep 6 defensive tackles, but because they're going to kick Yetur Gross-Matos, because they're going to kick Mikael Williams into defensive tackle and pass rushing situations, probably just going to be 5, which means you've got 3 guys fighting for their lives. Kevin Givens, Kalia Davis, and undrafted free agent Sebastian Valdez. Who wants the job? Wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers go claim another defensive tackle that might get cut by another team if one of these 3 guys don't pan out. But Kevin Givens has been on this roster since 2019 and has contributed and has shown very positive technique, one of the best 3 techs to anchor against the double team, even though he's the smallest of the whole bunch. Technique-driven savant versus upside athletic penetrator Kalia Davis. Which one are you going to go with? The lights have not turned on yet for Kalia Davis. I think that he will make this roster, but I don't have a lot of confidence. He comes in 53 on this roster countdown, and man, one of these young guys has to finally pan out and deliver. And really, it's got to be more than one. You got to have 2 or 3. Alfred Collins, CJ West, Evan Anderson, Sebastian Valdez, Kalia Davis. Come on, guys. Come on down. You've got to have multiple, and probably my biggest critique, and I've echoed this many times, you do not have veteran depth at the defensive tackle position. It's just a bunch of young pups, and Jordan Elliott, the least consistent player of the whole bunch, is your only veteran presence there. Kevin Givens, maybe, but he's a deep-end rotational guy only. There are major issues here. How rare is it that a 2nd and 4th round pick are both home run picks at the same position? Does not happen often. I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm the biggest Alfred Collins, CJ West guy out there. But to bank on a 2nd and 4th round rookie panning out and transforming the interior of your defensive line, I can't think of when that's happened. Maybe the Rams, they kind of did that, but we'll see here. I hope Kalia Davis takes those steps and dominates and earns a spot to where he cannot be cut and has to be rotated in because he finally pays the fruit of that draft pick 4 years ago. That's what the Niners need. Thank you, Josh, Ben, and Zach, executive producers of this show. And for the 49ers Rush team, we'll just keep counting them down.